I felt my face split in half. And I don't mean that metaphorically. I mean, I woke up in the middle of the night with intense pressure between my front teeth that was radiating up towards my nose. And within an hour, my upper jaw had physically separated down the middle. I'm undergoing adult expansion with a bone-borne expander called MARPE. The goal is to split the mid-palatal suture, the seam of bone in the roof of the mouth, down the middle, so that real skeletal expansion can happen, not just tipping teeth outward. I'm doing this for functional reasons. I have a skeletal class 3 bite with dental compensation, limited tongue space, a restricted nasal airway, and chronic jaw tension due to clenching. In adults, getting an actual suture split isn't guaranteed, so it's a major milestone in the MARPE experience. Factors like age, bone density, appliance design, and the provider's turning protocol all play into whether or not a suture split is actually achieved. Without a split, you really just get tooth tipping. With the split, you get real skeletal expansion, which is the goal. By day 5, I'd done 18 turns, about 3 millimeters of expansion, and had yet to achieve a split. I was told by my orthodontist that I would know when a split happens because I'd get a gap between my front teeth, called a diastema. In recent days, the turns had gotten progressively harder, hard enough that I bent the key I was using to turn the appliance. In response to this, my orthodontist told me to pause turns for 48 hours. The idea behind this is that tension builds up in the device, and it takes time for the force to fully transmit into the bone. Still, that morning I was nervous. I wasn't sure that a split was even going to happen. Then, in the middle of the 6th night, around 40 hours into that pause, I wake up at 3:30 in the morning in extreme pain.
I just woke up in some of the worst pain that I've been since starting the expansion. It's localized to the 2 front teeth. Maybe this is what I'm meant to feel right before. Like, no one told me that the split would be painful, or that I should expect a level of discomfort like this, coming into it. Hopefully this resolves soon. That'd be neat.
The pressure was intense. It was centered right between my front teeth and radiating upward. It was a sharp pain, deep, symmetrical, and overwhelming. I remember lying in bed, just focusing on breathing. What shocked me the most is that no one really warned me that this could hurt. I'd heard stories of people splitting painlessly in their sleep, or during something random like stepping off of a curb. That was not my experience. I've had major surgery before, the Nuss procedure for pectus excavatum, and I'd consider myself to have a pretty high pain tolerance as a result of that. But the combination of how sensitive this area is and the reality of your upper jaw being forced apart made this a lot to handle. I could feel the sensation moving upward, like radiating through my teeth, the roots, across the suture, and then up towards my cheekbones. After about an hour of this, just lying in bed, breathing through it, at 4:30 a.m. I heard 3 tiny clicks. Not a dramatic pop, but just distinct tiny sounds.
I think it split about an hour after that. The feeling is really weird. The pain is gone. If I press into them, it's just like numb, but still under pressure. I heard like a few clicks over that hour, and there was like maybe 3 little tiny sounds when I think it happened. The acute, alarming pain kind of dissipated, but there's still like a stretchy feeling between the teeth. I suppose that's the transeptal fibers getting stretched, and that's what I'm feeling. I think it happened.
And then the pain faded. Slowly, over maybe a minute. What replaced it was numbness. My front teeth felt almost dead or anesthetized. And there was this like strange stretching sensation between them, like something had been pulled apart that was never really meant to be felt. That stretch feeling turned out to be real. The fibers that hold adjacent teeth together, called transeptal fibers, were now suddenly under tension. I knew that intellectually, but actually feeling it was a different experience. In the days after, that stretching feeling has become a little more noticeable. It's not super painful, but with each turn, it does feel like the teeth are being pulled apart, but I've gotten a little used to it. I guess I should have expected this logically. I knew that on one side the teeth feel stretched, and on the other side those same fibers get compressed, but I just wasn't mentally prepared for how present this would feel. What surprised me the most though was my tongue. Mewing, or proper tongue posture, immediately felt different. It took some getting used to, especially like placing my tongue around the appliance. I had to put wax on the screws in order to not cut my tongue, but once I got it down, it felt great. Previously, I had just not had enough room on my palate to create a true suction or to even hold my tongue up there without pushing into my front teeth. For the first time, proper tongue posture feels possible for me. I think it's a combination of the palate being a bit wider and the sutures being loosened that allow me to lift the back third of my tongue to the roof of my mouth and the tip of it to sit slightly behind the incisors so they're not pushing into the front teeth anymore. I do feel some pressure when I hold that posture, not pain really, just awareness, which I guess is to be expected given that everything is still mobile. This is pretty encouraging, as proper tongue posture during expansion helps support the midface as things move outward and a bit forward. The tongue acts as a guide rail or supporting structure rather than the main driving force, which is the expander or a reversible face mask, but it's an important factor nonetheless. I've also noticed easier nasal breathing, especially on my right side, which had previously felt pretty restricted. I've also felt soreness in other facial structures, particularly near my nose and cheekbones. This is to be expected, as once the mid-palatal suture splits, the force from the expander transfers to the surrounding circummaxillary sutures. This is also why maxillary protraction with a reversible face mask is more effective after a suture split, something I'll be starting later in my treatment. Overall, everything points towards a successful expansion so far. The hard part seems to be behind me. I plan to keep on documenting this, honestly and in real time, because there aren't many adult accounts out there that go into the process and how it actually feels. If you're considering this treatment, I want you to have the real information, as much as I'm allowed to provide, not just diagrams and before and after pictures. Although I will be providing those pictures, don't worry about that. I also want to thank my brother for helping film this. He's a cinematography student and he put a lot of work into helping film this. If you like the look of this video, his channel is linked below. He's got a lot of short films that I genuinely think are excellent. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. I hope this was somewhat interesting or helpful for you, and I'll see you soon.